At a railway station. In a city, there lived a beggar. He survived by begging from passengers, traveling in the trains that stopped there. One day, while begging, he noticed a tall, well-dressed man. The beggar thought, "This man looks very rich. If I ask him for alms, he will surely give me a good amount." He approached the man and started begging. The tall man looked at him and said, "You always ask from others, but have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I always ask because I have nothing to give. How can I give anything to anyone?" The tall man said, "If you can't give, then you have no right to ask. I am a businessman, and I believe in give and take. If you have something to give me, only then will I give you something in return." Saying this, the man boarded the train and left. The beggar sat there, pondering over the man's words. Those words struck a chord in his heart. He thought, maybe I don't get much money because I never give anything in return. But I'm just a beggar. What can I possibly give to others? After much thought, he decided, from now on, whoever gives me alms, I will give them something in return. But a question troubled him. What can I, a beggar, give in return for 2 days? He couldn't find an answer. On the third day, as he sat near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on the plants nearby. An idea struck him. Why don't I give flowers to people in return for their alms? He liked the idea and picked a few flowers. When he begged on the train that day, he gave flowers to everyone who gave him money. People appreciated this gesture and kept the flowers. With them, happily from then on, the beggar began plucking flowers every morning and giving them to people who gave him alms. He noticed that more people started giving him money. However, when he ran out of flowers, fewer people gave him alms. One day, while begging on the train, he saw the same tall man who had inspired him. The beggar immediately approached him and said, "Today I have something to give you. Please give me alms, and, in return, I will give you some flowers." The man smiled, gave him some money, and accepted the flowers. He said, "Wonderful. You've become a businessman like me." The man took the flowers and left. Once again, his words resonated with the beggar. The beggar realized that the key to changing his life was now in his hands. He stepped off the train, looked up at the sky, and shouted, "I am not a beggar anymore. I am a businessman. I can become rich." People around him thought he had gone mad, but the beggar was determined. 6 months later, at the same station, 2 well-dressed men were traveling. One of them recognized the other and extended his hand for handshake. "Do you recognize me?" the first man asked. "No, I don't think we've met before," replied the second man. The first man smiled and said, "We've met before, not once, but twice. Don't you remember the beggar you once spoke to?" Surprised, the second man said, "Oh yes, you're the beggar I once refused to give money to, and the second time I bought flowers from you. But today you're dressed so well. What are you doing now?" The first man replied, "Yes, I was that beggar, but today I am a successful flower merchant. I'm on my way to another city for business." He continued, "You taught me an important rule of life. We only receive when we give. This rule has changed my life. I realized that I wasn't a beggar. I was always a businessman, but didn't see myself that way. People didn't give me alms. They were paying for the flowers I gave them. I used the money I earned to buy more flowers and became a merchant. Today, I run a large flower business, thanks to the rule you taught me." Both men smiled and continued their journey. The story teaches us a profound lesson about the power of self-perception and the universal law of giving and receiving. Often, we limit ourselves by believing we are incapable or unworthy of success, just like the poor beggar initially thought of himself as just a beggar. However, true transformation begins with a change in mindset. When we shift our focus from merely taking to also giving, whether it's through kindness, effort, or value, we open doors to opportunities and growth. The rule of give and take is not just a business principle. It is a life philosophy that fosters mutual benefit and prosperity. Moreover, success is deeply tied to how we view ourselves. If we see ourselves as small or insignificant, others will too. But when we believe in our potential and take steps to act on it, the world responds in kind. His journey, from a beggar to a successful businessman, reminds us that no dream is too big and no situation is too hopeless. If we dare to think differently, act boldly, and believe in our ability to rise above our circumstances,